And just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture as people start to come in. There's a few people from the East Coast here. It's kind of amazing. Welcome. And not acknowledge that the people in the middle of America, it's also late for you guys. I know that. It's also late for us too here. Anyway, it's generally just bedtime. But let's just do this first, and then you guys can all crawl into it. It's only half hour. All right. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture, both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart, and just allow yourself to kind of settle in to yourself. Because if you've been around family and friends and busyness today, your mind's probably is still kind of a little bit outside of yourself. In some cases, always so sweet to see people you haven't seen for such a long time. But it can take your mind a little bit out. So just give yourself some time to come back in and reconnect with you, with yourself. As you settle into your body. Those shoulders align with the hips and the ears align with the shoulders, and imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond, and just put some space in between the vertebrae. Just lengthen. Come to the crown of the head and relax your scalp, the forehead, the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the eyes, the back of the eye. Just release any tension there. Particularly if you're wearing corrective lenses. Before I got contacts, I found that my eyes would get really tight. Back of the eyes would be really tight. Now, of course, they've improved the lenses that you can wear, but I used to just move my head to see rather than my eyeballs. So think about that. Maybe those eye exercises are a good thing, but just relax your eyes and the nose and the cheeks, the mouth, back of the tongue, the ear, the inner ear, your temples, the back of the head, the back of the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax your throat, chest, and belly, and all of your limbs. And be aware, bring your attention to your breath sensations, the nostrils, the chest cavity, the belly. And then be aware of any sounds in your environment, just allowing those sounds to be there, trying not to run off and investigate. And then be aware of the thoughts that are arising. So maybe everything's sort of settled even in this just last 5 minutes. Put some space in between the thoughts. Maybe try and slow them down. Be curious about what you see. Be objective. And try not to give yourself a hard time. And just know that however it is you're turning up this evening, it's totally fine. So then bring to mind all these people of our life. You can start with the ones you love. Your friends, family, spouses, children, grandchildren, cousins, uncles, aunties, families, and these people in our life we're not super comfortable with, and then our strangers. Knowing that these relationships can, change. They could be interchangeable. These people are just like you and me. They're all equal, just like you and me, because they want to be happy. They don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, action. So having harmed others, we will experience the same. So, we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So it makes sense logically to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, deeply regret from the depths of our hearts anything we've done to harm any other with our body, our speech, broken our vows, because we don't want any future suffering. So then we just regret all of our delusions of body, speech, and mind. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So first little section is refuge, and we turn to Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. So we're not relying on him for anything else other than method and medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, his beautiful, radiant white body. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, blissful, radiant white light. He has a beautiful, radiant face, and it's looking at you and all beings equally, no matter how you're turning up. So happy to see you. Compassion, kindness. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, symbolizing enlightenment, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top part of the body all the negativity of your speech, and just imagine it overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. And Rinpoche used to say overflowing quite forcefully. So you imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa savasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida me boa, Situkaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorecta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Humpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Humpe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, including you, because you hear what comes out of your mouth. Next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine you walk into a room, it's pitch black, flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine the moment the light hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of the mind, all the attachment, neediness, anger, depression, bitterness, grudges, anxiety, jealousy, all are instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorecta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. Just imagine there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, the fourth and final step in the purification process, and a really critical one. And this is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. So we start, first of all, by rejoicing in your efforts, particularly on this holiday, and for some of you very late, coming along to do this practice. It's kind of amazing. So just give yourselves a pat on the back, and everybody else, all your Zoom buddies. And then think of something you've been working on personally, and then maybe try doing it a little bit more, a little bit differently. Maybe try something else. Could be negative self-talk. The moment would be that the idea would be to kind of catch yourself in the moment and try and reframe it. How could I talk to myself a little bit differently? And then think, imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge, with your mind, and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And so next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness, so we can think, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our 3 verses. Chanting the names of Manjushri, equipped in full with knowledge and its base, a Sagata best knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging onto mine, established in the system of 2 truths. Upon the edge of cyclic's life's far shore, with deeds accomplished resting on the bank, emerging from untainted lone awareness, with sword-like insight ever penetrating. The sun, the Dharma king, the noble Dharma, supreme illuminator of the world, the Dharma Lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, the teacher of the path to excellence. Okay, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness of Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of our own individual teachers, and for all of you to have a safe evening, happy evening. Probably everyone's going to bed now. And then tomorrow morning, does anyone have anything that they would particularly like to do tomorrow morning?
I'd like to do Tara. This is Marion. I'd like to do.
Hi, Marion.
Hi.
Sure.
Okay.
Nice. Sure. Let's do Tara tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Good night. See you tomorrow morning.
Thank you.